out to go wandering along the mountain track. And as I go and out to sing, my knapsack on my back. Marie,
Woods and Waters with your host, Bud Leavitt.
Thank you for joining us this evening, and hopefully the next 30 minutes will be pleasantly enjoyed by all hands. I know I want you to meet my friend Martin Redcay. Martin, nice to see you, sir.
Same here, sir.
He is from Wallkill, New York, and he represents the fly fishers of America, and they are congregating in this great city of ours called Bangor come the middle days, May 12 and 13 of this coming year. A very august group, very well-known group. Some of the great sportsmen of America belong to the fly fishers, but I'm going to let him tell you about that. Tell me what you know about the Federation of Fly Fishers.
Federation of Fly Fishers was conceived back in 1962 by a group of concerned fly fishers who saw a chance at that time to form a group that were all fly fishermen and to represent the fly fisher as a fly fisher is. They formed this group as a type of organization of showing that the fly fisher was the best type of sportsman in this type of fishing. They went on and formed their first conclave in Eugene, Oregon, a year later. And from that point in time on, after their elections, why, it has advanced very, very rapidly and has spread and grown.
This is the 25th anniversary of the Eastern...
Yes, sir. Well, it's national.
National, but I mean of the Eastern, what do we call it? The Eastern...
well, it is now
Eastern
Northeastern.
Council. Northeastern Council,
yes.
of Federation of Fly
Right.
Fishers. Last summer I had the joyous occasion of joining Leavitt and meeting with you, and you went sight looking, and our city, the city of Bangor, was one, I guess, of several under consideration to hold this annual conclave, and being the 25th anniversary one, number one, we thank you for selecting Bangor, but why did you?
I think you're the major purpose for that.
Well, I don't want you to say that, but I'm sure you're not going to bring 300 people here just to look at my handsome face. But
well, who knows? But anyhow, we were in the area looking, and I was on vacation at that particular time in the Moosehead region. And I just made it a point that since this particular area in Maine has a very, very strong heritage for fly fishing and the salmon and the brook trout, be a very unique location for a conclave of this sort. And I just took it upon myself to come down here and check into this. And that's when we got together.
And you had enough evidence when you got back to sit down with your board and...
oh yeah, they were in favor of it 100%. They said that they saw no reason at all why we shouldn't have it here because of its tradition and this location and the type of fishing that was in the area. It's very unique.
Well, for purposes of our viewers, is to fill them in on this thing. This is not a convention with a happy group of fellows enjoying long days and long nights and so forth. These are serious-minded people. What goes on for 2 days?
Well, it's actually called a conclave, or another word for convention. We tend to stay with conclave. It sounds a little bit more informal, I think. What we do is mainly we come out for education purposes and also for fun. We, at this conclave, will have exhibits which will be of some of the better grade shops in the state of Maine and from outside the state of Maine, from rod manufacturers to fly shops and reel manufacturers, outfitters, camps, what have you, camping associations. Also, we'll have programs that will be available that day. It will be programs on how to, what with, fly fishing. Also be some workshops there that will show you and explain to you how to do certain things. And I don't know if we're going to, at this point in time, yet have a rod building session, but it would be on fly tying, on fishing for certain types of fish like smallmouth or Atlantic salmon or brook trout or landlocked salmon. From that point, we will have a banquet that evening, and at that banquet we'll have a keynote speaker, which I will not give at this particular time yet. We're not 100% committed on it. And we'll have an auction thereafter. This is our fundraiser, and this is how we can afford to put this conclave on up here.
Well, you didn't name who the speaker was going to be, and I'm not going to press you, but I know for a fact that you've invited the President of the United States, the #1 angler in the world. And
That's true, that's true.
And I've seen a copy of his response to you, wherein he says that he is giving it to his scheduling office, and understanding that with world conditions being what they are at the moment, right. He was in no position at this moment to tell you.
Exactly.
But hope is still held out.
Well, I was speaking to one of the committee members the other night. Committee members will be from the Bangor area, and they will be locally. They will know the area better than I will, and they're getting involved. And he said that if possibly, we haven't heard from President Bush by this point in time, it's a very good possibility he might be accepting.
Well, we'd welcome Kennebunkport George.
Yes, yes.
And heaven knows he enjoys fishing, and
Yes.
fly fishing in particular.
Yes.
And I think the very fact that renowned Florida guide George Hormel, who happens to be the President's favorite guide in that part of the world, has extended part of the invitation, won't hurt in any way.
True, true.
So, well, at these seminars that'll be conducted now, as I understand it, for 2 days, that'll be open afternoons to the general public?
It will be open from 9 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock at night.
Until 5 o'clock.
Right, that would be Saturday. And then on Sunday, we'll be open from 9 in the morning until 6 o'clock. The programs will be going on hourly throughout the day. At this point in time, I have all but 2 hourly scheduled programs that are not filled yet for Saturday. That's one portion, and I'm working on the second one right now, so we could probably have them spaced in a half-hour lap over. In other words, have one at 9, another one start at 9:30, and so on through the day.
So this will include everything from exotic fly tying of trout flies, Atlantic salmon flies, presumably streamer flies,
Right.
native to this part of the world, and I can't imagine.
Harry Stevens' traditional tied flies by Mike Martinek. He will be here. He is one of her staunch followers and ties specifically by her instruction, as she used to tie them herself.
Really?
So he will be here on hand. He's also giving a program on streamer flies and trolling the streamer flies. So that would be one interesting program to take in.
Okay, so the public may attend these seminars.
You have to be pre-registered.
You have to be pre-registered.
Pre-registered. The pre-registration fee would be $15, and that will include the admission to the exhibit hall. That would include all of the programs and workshops included. You can go to any or all, as you see fit, your choice. And the exhibit hall itself will be open to the public, yes, but not to the exhibits, because it wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair.
Okay. And the dinner on Sunday evening.
Dinner will be at
Bangor Motor Inn upstairs.
At the Bangor Motor Inn upstairs in the banquet
Right.
hall, right. And we're expecting a sellout of 300 there.
And you're pre-selling the thing, and if you don't have tickets by April 15th, do I understand you're out of luck?
That's it. We don't have any more room.
Mm-hmm.
Because once these tickets are up for sale, and it's first come, first serve. And,
Well, Martin, tell me this. Are many of these people planning to remain in the area for purposes of fishing, extending their stay here and so forth?
Yes, a lot of them are planning vacations around us. And I anticipate we're going to have quite a few coming up just from my area alone, where I'm from, in Wallkill. Right at this point in time, we're talking in the area of possibly 100 people that are coming right from there. And it's liable to be more than that till it's all said and done. This is just a preliminary estimate.
Oh, sure.
We have people coming as far as New Jersey. Bob Popovic, the inventor of the pop fly, which is a saltwater epoxy type streamer, will be here on hand. He'll be tying, and he'll be giving a program also on saltwater fly fishing. We have people coming from some distance, and it's all for the benefit of the attendee, for them to come to these programs and enjoy them and participate in them.
I have before me here, resorting to my files, the 1990 International Conclave. There was held again this year, let me see, in Oregon. Dennis Bitton, what fly fishing is all about. Gary Bodger, who will be talking trout in still water. This is not to say that they're all coming here, but this is part of a program similar that we'll have here. Jimmy Green, bad cast and how to control the tailing loop. What a lovely little man he is. David Hughes and Rick Hathel and Western entomology. No interest here at all, David. Lefty Cray, we know Lefty's got to be out of the country, right?
Yep, yep.
Mel Krieger, who'll speak on Argentina. Gary LaFontaine, Wayne Lawland, Bob Marriott, Mike Maxwell, Ralph Moon, Jimmy Nix, Billy Pate, Taft Price. These are all names that fly fishermen know.
These are all Federation of Fly Fisher members. They all participate. This is part of it. You know, you get a lot of people asking questions like, well, what can the Federation do for us? Basically, it's not what the Federation can do for you. It's what you can do for the Federation. You are the Federation. And whatever you put into the Federation is what you get out of it. As a majority or as a whole, I mean, you have these programs and you're part of it. You're the one who is giving to the Federation. Most of our programs are all free gratis. We do have people come in that are paid, but most of them, it's all volunteer work. And this is how we keep ourselves going.
I understand also that any profits made from this event for 2 days, one half of it will go back to whatever conservation project the local committee deems.
That's right. 50% will remain here when we leave, after our expenses, of course. And as this committee or whoever is in this committee sees fit, it has been suggested that a conservation fund from the organization itself could be the benefit, or as it was suggested, possibly the funds could go into the Penobscot River Coalition Fund.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking to my board of directors, they are very, very enthused over that idea. They like to see it going into this coalition fund. But again, I can't speak for these people.
Right.
They can do with it what they see most fitting.
Tell me about some of the work the Fly Fishing Federation members nationwide have done for conservation. Are there examples?
What have they done? Oh, sure. There's many, many, many things that they've done. Stream restoration, streams that have been flooded and have been diverted, have been rechannelized through efforts of the Federation of Fly Fishers. A lot of pollution and cleanup is involved in this. I myself, I teach a fly fishing course, and there are other courses through national and through the United States that are being performed under the same type of school. We have fly tying classes. We have seminars on different types of fishing. Like we have one planned right now for April, the third weekend of April, which is on shad in the Delaware River, fly fishing for shad. You ever done it?
Yes, sir.
It's a ball.
It's a ball. It's great fun. Great little fish.
If you can imagine, you have 6 to 8 pounds of flat-sided fish similar to a flounder, and getting in a current and just bulldogging. And they're tackle busters. They are a lot of fun. This is just some of the things that's been accomplished.
But I mean in the way of conservation, in the way of projects, either supportively with funds or with manpower, the thrust of the organization nationally.
Sure. This is one of the things that the Federation is about. We have a limited conservation fund at this point in time. We're still in the point of growth, so to speak. And we're right now estimating in the end of 5 years, this was from the national meeting, that we should be up in the 65,000 member category. Now, in that, we have our conservation fund. And say you belong to the Songcades, and you're an affiliated member. you are eligible to receive funds from that conservation fund to do some conservation job
the,
on a stream
I
locally,
understand. Okay.
or get involved with the Penobscot Coalition. You know.
Thus, this is the interest in the Eastern members to looking favorably upon making a contribution of this 50% profit, if
Right.
there's any, to give to the coalition.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there is money available. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a stream project. It can be some kind of a project that you might want to take to high school. And this is one of the things today we have to really start pursuing to teach the young people of
You're
our
reading
nation.
my mind. My next question was to be,
Yes.
what are you doing for the young people of America?
Well, we're doing basically the same thing. We have junior programs. I'm anticipating right now as to whether or not we're going to have the facilities at the Bangor Motor Inn to have a youth program. I'd love to have it, but I don't know how we're going to be able to be set up there. I have to go look it over tomorrow after the meeting and see exactly what we're laid out to do. If we can put it in, we will put it in.
What do you need for space to do such a thing?
Even if it's a grass area. But if I remember correctly, when we were out there the last time, it was mainly all macadam, except for the side of the building, and that was a field, if I remember correctly.
Well, there's got to be adequate fields around there.
Well,
But anyway, that's something you
yeah,
said.
we'd have to look and see if we could get permission to use that. I mean, and then it has to be mowed and prepared.
Does National, the Federation of Fly Fishers, educating our young, is this paramount in their thinking?
It's getting to be more so every time that we have a board meeting. The junior seems to be brought more into the subject than ever before, because these are the people that are the people of the fly fishing future. These are the people that have to keep what they have now. And you have to realize at this point in time where we are now with pollution and degradation and so forth, if we don't protect this, we're going to lose it before very long. And now's the time. We may be too late, who knows? But now's the time we feel is we have to start having these programs, teaching the young, the youth, and getting them prepared.
Who belongs to the Federation?
Who belongs to the Federation? Jimmy Carter.
That's President Jimmy
All walks
Carter.
of life, yes. All walks of life, from doctors, lawyers, on down to the street sweeper. I mean, everyone belongs to this. And everyone has the equal position in the Federation.
Who can join? Who can be a member?
You can join. Anyone can join.
Okay, what's the annual membership?
I'm sorry you brought that up. No, our annual membership was 20, although at the annual meeting in Eugene in August, it was voted upon at that time because of all the mailing costs that's involved with the quarterly magazine that comes with the membership and all the other literature that comes out. They are not making money. They're in the process of losing money under the $20, so it is now raised to $25 starting January the 1st.
Well, I don't think that's too much of a jolt.
No, it's individuals 25 and family is 30. So it's $30. It's a pretty good deal. I mean, the larger the family you have, the more you benefit by it. So it's a man and his wife can join for $30, and if they join individually, it's 25 each. So you're saving.
Okay, we have the Eastern Council and so forth. How many various councils are there in America? Do you know offhand, the top of your head?
Up until August, when the separation took place, and that's when the Eastern Council was separated into the Northeastern Council, we had 9 councils. With the separation now, we have 11 permanent councils. Plus, the Northeastern Council has the Canadian Council, Sub-Council, and the Mid-Atlantic Sub-Council, which is still under our guidelines and subject to our rule, if you want to put it that way. In other words, they belong to our organization, although they are under sub-council of their own. They can go ahead and hold their own conclaves without any responsibility to us or programs. And in return, they still can receive benefits from us till the point in time that they see fit. They are ready to establish their own council. Once they establish their own council, they are solely responsible for their own council. But at this point in time, we are still their responsibility.
Why was there a break in the ranks? Little
Why?
dissatisfaction?
Yes, there was. There was a lot of dissension. A lot of clubs are pulling out. for the simple reason there was no communication, there was a lack of interest because there was nothing taking place that they were involved in, and so forth and so on. And really, it was no one's fault. It was just a simple matter of geography. Because the Eastern Council, as it was, extended from the Arctic Circle clear to the southern tip of the Florida Keys. It was a vast area.
Yes, sir.
And, well, anywhere from Pennsylvania south, they felt as if they were alienated. They just didn't belong. And rightly so, because there was not a lot of communication put towards them. With this separation, I initiated with the then president of the Southern Council, Fred Stevenson. We discussed this numerous times over the telephone before we actually brought about a proposal to do the separation. And the executive board and the committee, the president of the National Federation of Fly Fishers, was very exuberant because they wanted this to be established 4 or 5 years ago. And at that present time, our president was Paul G. McKenzie, and Paul just did not want to see the Eastern Council separated. I mean, everybody's to their own likes and dislikes, but he just did not want to let the...
Why was it Mr. McKenzie didn't want to let go?
I really can't answer that. I don't know what his whole motive was. Some say it was giving up power, that he was power conscious. Others say that he wanted that recognition, holding that vast area. I don't know. I really can't say.
Well, just a case of growing pains within the organization.
Yes, actually. And as it is right now, we have about 3,000 members plus in the Northeastern Council by itself. At that particular point in time, we had pretty close to 5,000 in the Eastern Council, but now the Northeastern with the
Well, how is the Southeast Council?
The Southeast Council?
How are they functioning?
Great.
Are they?
And it's very, very exuberating to me to be able to say this for the simple fact that when Fred and I were looking into this, Fred said, well, he said, you only have 5 clubs down there now. And under the structure of the National Federation of Fly Fishers, you are required to have 10 clubs and 300 members to be able to be eligible to become a council. And he called me one night and he says, I have a question. And he said, just how many members do you have in what would be the Southeastern Council that was formed? And I said, Fred, I said, I don't have the slightest idea, but what I'll do is I'll take the latest printouts and I'll let you know in a couple of nights. Well, I sat down and figured it out state by state. We came out with just all but 800 members. And if it was 5 clubs at that time, we were still short 5 clubs. But as soon as the proposal came out and it became known, it was within the weeks, that we had our first club ever formed in Atlanta, Georgia. We never had a club there before. This Bill Beeks was the fellow that formed his club in his backyard of his home over a barbecue. He invited all of his friends in there. And that's how that club started. They're up to 38 members now. They're 100%. It's not an affiliated club. It's a 100% club. Since that time, the Southeastern Council has received 4 different clubs that had belonged before and dropped out, have now rejoined. We have 4 new clubs in the state of Florida itself. So we're back up again now, over and plus what the requirements were. So it is a full-fledged council of its own. I'm
surprised with that amount of interest in the South, I mean, for fly fishing, especially with the bulk of the fishing being largemouth bass.
Right.
And I do realize there are a lot of mountain streams and so forth where these trouters go for purposes of fishing, but that growth is quite amazing to me.
It is. And I'll tell you what, it's inconceivable. You can see it happening in the future and not very far away. What's going to take place is Florida is going to become a council of its own. The simple fact that the state of Florida
itself... A lot of saltwater fly fishing.
Right. This is the home of the saltwater fly fishing, and there's a great deal of interest down there, and it's expanding very rapidly. And it's at the point right now, they almost have enough clubs to make their own council at this time. So it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Whether it's going to be in a year or 2 years, we don't know yet, but we can see it coming.
Well, if you've never heard about the Fly Fishers Federation of America, certainly you should be a bit more educated tonight after hearing Martin tell about this, because this coming conclave in Bangor, May 12 and 13, is going to bring some quite famous names in the field of angling here for purposes of seminar, demonstrations, and to sit down and talk and meet with local people. I indeed feel pretty strong and pretty proud to think that on this 25th anniversary of the Federation that this particular area was chosen as the site for it. It has never appeared, the fly fishers have never gathered in Maine, not for conclave purposes, in years gone by, and this marks the first occasion. And I have to say that with all due credit, it belongs to a fellow named Lee Babb and Martin Redcay right here, who
We owe you quite a bit too, sir.
Who visited here last summer and said with all the nice cultural advantages that we have of an outstanding library, a fine civic building, an abundance of motels, the greatest Atlantic salmon river on the U.S. continent, right here in our dooryard, and the available waters from Green Lake to Branch to Tunk to Moosehead, Rangeley, the full scope, they're going to have an opportunity. So if in your plans you have plans for mid-May, you should plan on attending the conclave, because I think during that day and some of these seminars that you'll find the day most enjoyable. Martin, I wish you well, and I hope the sun shines on your back all during this conclave.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we're going to welcome you people when you come to our city.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Well, we've had fun tonight. We've talked about a conclave, and there's a lot going to happen, and I think you're going to be impressed with this entire gathering when they appear here and fill up part of our motels and fill some of the dining rooms and spend some of that money. We can use the money.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Hope you enjoyed.
Along